Breaking news now on 1010 Wins.
A federal grand jury in Washington has returned an indictment against former President Donald Trump, who is facing 4 criminal counts in connection with his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. A short time ago, special counsel Jack Smith made a statement. He took no questions.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
Mr. Trump is scheduled to be arraigned in Washington on Thursday. Tonight, he has posted on his social media platform denouncing the investigation and Mr. Smith and calling the charges fake. Let's talk about those charges now. Joining us live on 1010 Wins is New York attorney and legal political analyst Andrew Lieb. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's go through these counts, if you will. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. These are the biggest charges he has faced now in his 3 criminal charges. Am I right?
It's certainly something that makes your jaw drop. That's what the best way I could say it to you. The first 39 pages of this 45-page indictment goes about conspiracy to defraud the United States. A lot of us were looking for page 39, which is saying what happened on January 6th with whether you want to call it the riots or whatever you want to call it, the insurrection, the protests. That's what we were looking for. That's page 39, though. Before we get there, what we have is 39 pages that details what happened with Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, where they tried to delegitimize the election and then put in fake electors. These are people that weren't certified, weren't part of the government, to vote instead of the people that we all as citizens voted for. That's the first charge, and for that one, he could face 5 years in prison.
This did not happen in a vacuum, and he allegedly did not act alone. And special counsel Jack Smith said the investigation continues against other individuals. Who might else be charged in the coming days or the coming weeks?
Well, that's actually a good drinking game, I guess we could all play, because you could go to page 3, paragraph 8, and they have 6 co-conspirators. They're co-conspirator 1, who's an attorney, co-conspirator 2, who's an attorney, co-conspirator 3, who's an attorney, co-conspirator 4, a Justice Department official, co-conspirator 5 is an attorney, and co-conspirator 6 is a political consultant. You know, I would say to you that maybe they'll remain unindicted co-conspirators. Maybe it will be a guessing game. We'll see where it goes. But, you know, we could always have a superseding indictment if one of these people don't play ball. Because if you remember, we have in this indictment 2 different charges, 3 of conspiracy, which means those 6 co-conspirators can all be named in those 3 charges alone.
Well, you brought up unindicted co-conspirator, and an attorney for former Trump attorney John Eastman has told NBC News that his client is indeed an unindicted co-conspirator in this case.
Yeah, it could be him. It could be, as he acknowledged, it could be Rudy Giuliani for all we know. It's hard to pinpoint because they only give you a very small blurb and it tells you one thing they did, but it's going to be what we're going to be dissecting as analysts for the days to come. And like I said, if they refuse to play ball, they're going to quickly change in Jack Smith's mind from unindicted co-conspirators to indicted co-conspirators. That all depends on how much they cooperate with the prosecution of this case.
Joining us live on 1010 Wins, political and legal analyst Andrew Lieb. And Mr. Trump is also facing a 4th possible criminal case in Georgia, possibly in just a few weeks.
It seems like it's coming any day now. We have the attorney there, the district attorney, Fannie Willis, who's promised us we're going to get the answer of whether she's indicting or not in this month. This month is the month. And she says all the work is done there. And I have to point out again that in the 39 pages of this new indictment in D.C., which details together as 55 years he's facing in jail, they go over Georgia numerous times. So there's going to be overlap between the case that, if there is one, in the state court in Georgia and this federal indictment. So what's the big difference? The big difference is that a President Trump or another Republican president or even a Democrat president cannot pardon a Georgia state prosecution. So it's important to have these cases go, even if they have some overlap.
Right, and that's also the case here in Manhattan with Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's case against Mr. Trump. Okay, thank you very much. New York attorney and legal political analyst Andrew Lieb joining us live tonight on 1010 Wins as we learn about the charges against former President Trump in this latest indictment. If you would like to read the indictment, you can go to 1010wins.com. Wins News Time 6.
I was crossing the street